100% Wild podcast is brought to you by OnX Hunt, the nation's #1 GPS hunting app. Download today in the Google Play and App Store.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, proudly brought to you by the OnX Hunt app.
Very proud. That's a new development, man.
Yeah. We're really excited to have those guys on. We really got to know them July or August last year, and it's just been kind of an ongoing relationship, and we're proud to have them on board.
Yeah, they've been very helpful with the inception of DeerCast. We had been working on, but we had some questions and just how to market and strategies and technology, and they've been very helpful to us, and we've really struck up a friendship over the last year almost, and so it's been good, man. They've been really helpful, and we're excited to go on down the road with them as a full partner here.
And I'm hoping to not lose so many trail cameras because of their app.
So you're setting the waypoints?
Because I'm down 2 from last season because I did not set the waypoints on the map, and I'm like a squirrel trying to find an acorn that he buried and can't remember where it was now.
I can relate to that.
It's like, I wonder how many trail cams are out there just sitting forgotten in the world.
You hope you stumble back across it one day and you're like, oh man, I had this giant 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then it's like a time capsule opening up and see what was on it.
Yeah, that's right.
So can we clear something up kind of out of the gate here? It's kind of about my reputation around the studio.
Well, I think I know where you're going with this, and I don't think you're going to be able to clear it up, but go ahead.
So I have just in the past day earned the reputation as, well, let me start off. There are 2 things I really enjoy in life. One is pickles.
Okay.
The other is stealing.
Well,
so I feel like because of those 2 things, my reputation is besmirched now because people think I'm a thief.
You're a pickle thief, let's be honest.
Pretty much.
There's no way around it. I found out about this today. Joe, our longtime employee here, had a brand new jar of pickles in the fridge in the break room.
Brand new.
And somebody went in and literally ate almost all of them in like a day. Mm-hmm. And Joe did a little homework, and he found out that it was Tim. And there's nothing worse than a thief.
Especially a pickle thief. Because they're like they give them away at the store.
Tim made up for it. He got me some pickles.
Yeah, well, Joe, don't go so easy on him.
I did replenish the pickles. So we were saying goodbye to our buddy Trevor last week, who left us for other pastures, and we had a party, and I thought they were leftover condiments.
Whatever.
It's like eating someone's ketchup packets.
Not really, not at all, actually. You can say whatever you want. You're a thief.
I'm a pickle thief. So to kind of to frame up this show, I get to read through all the posts on DeerCast. And we get a lot of stuff that we just don't have the capacity to publish because we're publishing just a few things a day.
A lot of fan shares that don't get shared because we just can't keep
user content.
We're hopefully going to change that here in this next generation of the app. Like,
are you teasing a new app feature?
I am teasing. Like, realistically, there's our news feed, and you've seen if you get the latest version of the app that it's kind of been divided out. But there's a fan share feed, and here in Gen 2, we're going to be taking that to another level. And not to say every single piece of content, but majority of the content, we're still vetting it and still making sure that it kind of follows our rules and guidelines and is PC to an extent. But almost all of it's going to go into that fan share, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's literally a social media site for hunters.
It's something a lot of people have asked for, and a lot of people want their fan shares shared. And as it is right now, we can't get to it. But in DeerCast Gen 2, it's coming.
Yeehaw.
So we got a message from Josh Harris, who is out of Mississippi, and he asked a pretty legit question. He's like, I don't see a whole lot of people of color on DeerCast. Josh is black, and he posted a great turkey picture, which actually the day before, well, when I saw that image, when I saw his turkey picture, I said, we need to post this on social. We need to run with this. And I wanted to get back to Josh because I feel like in our society is so polarized right now, we don't have enough conversations. And it's hard to shoot emails back and forth. So I just sent Josh a message, said, hey, would love to talk with you about your concern. So we had a great conversation later that day, and he agreed to come on the podcast and talk a little bit more about minorities in the outdoors. And so Josh Harris from Mississippi, welcome to the 100% Wild podcast.
Brought to you by OnX.
Yes.
How's it going, Josh?
All right. How how you guys doing today?
We're good, man. We appreciate you jumping on board. Before we started the podcast, I briefly mentioned to you there, as we were chit-chatting in the introduction that, from time to time over the past 15 years, I have gotten a few emails about this very topic. And, it's always, I always reply to them. There's not much to say because they're dead on. I mean, really, there's not many people of color. And back in the day, I know Moss Yoke was partnered up with a couple guys that I don't remember the name. I know one of the names was Bub, and I forget what his brother's name was. And only reason I remember him is because we were always in camp with him down there in Mississippi when we were doing dream season and the catch dream hunts and stuff. And nice as could be. And then here lately, of the last couple years, I know, for instance, like it's Halo Outdoors. I think it's Henry and Lakeisha Woodard, I think, and then Josh Carney, the Son of the South. But other than that, and they're do a lot of digital content, it's social media, and other than that, you really don't see many people of color. It's not just many black people, but Latin or otherwise. You just really don't see that in our industry, and it's you're dead on. It's a real deficit as far as representing your lifestyle, really.
Right.
Yeah. Only one that currently that I can think of would be Trent Cole. Linebacker with I think Philadelphia Eagles. And I've watched his show a little bit here and there, but now the way society is moving toward streaming and social media and YouTube and things, that YouTube is actually, I mean, if I have a few minutes at work or I'm lunch or whatever, I'll check out a quick video here or there, but the days of going home and sitting on the couch and actually being able to spend 30 minutes to 2 hours watching television.
It's a commitment.
Those days just don't work for me.
Don't work for many people, hardly.
Right.
And I shouldn't have forgot about Trent, because hell, we know Trent really well. We're friends with him. That was oversight on my part, but yeah, he's probably the most well known as far as a TV show goes. All the rest, I was thinking, were all digital, really. So you're dead on.
Yeah.
So the purpose in having Josh on was to get another perspective on what is it going to take to increase minority representation in the outdoor industry and in hunting in general. And I wrote a piece. I actually sent it along to Josh. I wrote it a few years back. We republished it on DeerCast, called On Race and Future-Proofing Our Hunting Heritage. And the premise is, like, if we are serious about our hunting heritage and securing it for the future, we have to have a big tent approach. So I sent that along to Josh. He got a chance to read it, but I really think that's kind of where we're at. Like, we need to be able to have these conversations, and we need to be focused on bringing as many people in, making them feel as welcome as possible. So, Josh, just kind of first blush, what are your thoughts on how we approach that?
My thoughts are, it's a pretty simple idea. It's nothing new, but I mean, it's, the working guy, which I am, I, don't have a 1,000, 12, 1,500 acre lease, but, I have quite a few small leases, me and a couple other guys. We actually do try to take, a friend here, a friend there, with us to hunt, because they want to scratch that itch too. They want to get out and have a few hours on stand a season.
Sure.
And, you take those guys when you can, because, most guys like myself, you try to professionally hunt your own property or your own leases. So I take guys when I can, dealing with, we're talking about wind direction or, where deer are actually bedding or feeding. And, I'm trying to actually pattern deer as long as the next guy with 30 or 300 acre lease.
So you're bringing these guys. You bring these guys in, and you're trying to teach them. So it's not just they're coming in to hunt. You're actually trying to teach them the skill set that you've learned, and understand what hunting's all about, not just pulling the trigger or shoot, the release. It's the ins and outs of it, right?
Exactly. I mean, all those things, you're taking them from step one, to wherever. But
To
I
step Tim
actually,
Chelsvik.
right now, I'm actually, I was reading in the article Tim had, where I forgot the guy's name in the article.
I think it was Eric.
Eric. He was talking about the steps in a hunter, going from actually first going out and harvesting a deer to, getting numbers, then, trophy hunting, now you're graduating into actually sharing that.
Giving back.
Yeah. That's where I am now. And I've been fortunate enough to take a good bit of mature deer, 4 or 5 year old deer. But being actually, not being selfish, but me, small piece of property, I want to actually take the guy out so he can see deer, but, not where, in the small least where it may potentially hurt,
it's
me
hard
having the opportunity to kill a mature.
It's hard because it's a real sacrifice
Yeah,
on your own part to take someone else out because you're burning up that part of your property. You're probably spending some time with them and missing out on opportunities. So it's definitely a thing to be commended to be taking other guys out. Now I'm curious, these buddies of yours, I'm assuming they're black. What are their perceptions about going out to the woods, firearms, those kind of things that maybe other folks don't think about?
Well, a couple of them. Now, growing up in school, we actually hunted, together on small tracts. Actually did a little bit of public land hunting where we could, and a little bit of private property that I was privy to hunt. Actually we got together during the Thanksgiving break or the Christmas break, or New Year's break, through deer season. Yeah. And we all went out on it and enjoyed hunting on it. But as, time go on, get jobs, people move,
sure,
responsibility change, family grows. Some of the guys have, kind of moved away from hunting. Maybe they, live more in an urban area or maybe even them suburbs, but, in a new environment, that, they don't really know a lot of people and probably not as good at networking,
to find the land access.
Yeah, exactly. And so when they do come back in town, because a couple of them, they do live out of town. I do have one friend of mine, when he can get out, I'll take him once or twice. But the guys that, live out of town, it's time, it's scheduling. I mean, because if I have something to do outside of, hunting or maybe with family or son or, whatever, if I got the time available, his time is available, then, we'll link up there once or twice a season.
So what, in your opinion, what are some of the stigmas? I wanted to backtrack a little bit. Okay, so there's a deficit here, but why is that? So what are some of the stigmas in, the African American community regarding hunting? Why are your numbers lower than, your average hunter you think of as a Caucasian, right? So why is that? And is that the case? Is there just many black hunters and we just don't know about it? Which, I don't really run into that, honestly. Like I can't think of more than a handful of times that I've seen a person of color hunting, but we're right here dead in the Midwest. So that's part of it too. You go south, I'm sure it's different. You go down to Texas, I'm sure you see a lot of Latin, hunters. And so, what's the stigma behind hunting in general, in your opinion?
Well, it's not really a stigma. I can tell you one thing. I did learn this. Now, in my family, I have one uncle that hunts. I mean, you're talking about out of, on my mother's side, she had 8 siblings. My dad's side, he had 3. He has 3. I have one uncle, out of 50 grandchildren. On one side, and the other side, 20. My uncle, he actually married into our family. He's my mom's twin sister's husband, and he actually started me into hunting. But I would think about the guys that I went to school with, or the other kids in the neighborhood, just talking about growing up. Maybe 5, 6 out of a couple hundred children actually hunted. But it's not really minorities don't look at hunting in a bad light or anything. The issue that I see with minorities hunting is actually, in the past, no one ever done it. No one has done it. I mean, my grandfather.
Nobody teaching them, basically.
Say one more time.
Nobody's teaching them, basically, right?
Yes. Nobody's teaching them. I mean, most older African Americans, it was more so just work. 5, 6 days a week. You get home, afternoons, work around the house, take care of families, do what chores need to be done around the house. I mean, weekends, go to church, whatever. So those opportunities just never was there to teach, to just hand down, in my family. And it was just actually me seeing pictures of my uncle actually with a deer that he harvested, or a turkey that he harvested, or a dove that he harvested.
Yeah.
Actually piqued that interest in me.
That's cool.
And the scary thing is we're just we're always one generation away from losing our hunting tradition. If you have a generation of people that don't teach the next generation, it's just gone. And so like we've got to get back to that, and it takes people being sacrificial to give their time to take other guys out or take kids out and those kind of things. It seems like that's kind of what's happened in the African American community, because I know a long time ago a lot of folks, especially in the South, hunted for sustenance. Like that's what they had to do. But now, and I in my previous life, I worked with a lot of minorities in the urban center of St. Louis, and they had kind of a couple generations removed understanding of hunting, but they just had no personal experience with it.
Well, no land to go to unless they were going to go to public, which there's probably no person to actually take them to go hunt in the public land. It's like if that's not in your life ever, you really have to have some hell of an interest to go just do it on your own. And that's really the problem. And that doesn't matter what race it is. I mean, because we're seeing that now with just general.
Across the board.
Yeah, it's across the board. Hunting in general, they don't have the interest. They're not just going to go do it. And more parents, they hadn't hunted, or maybe they hunted once or twice when they were a kid with their dad, and they just don't know what they're doing or don't care. It's just sports or youth sports or whatever other technology, whatever billion other reasons why they don't try it. And it's just getting worse and worse. And that's across the board, not just in, with people of color. So,
Josh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I could say this one thing. I hunt in it's a rural part of Yazoo County, rural Mississippi. But now the hunting culture, whatever you're hunting for, whether it's deer, duck, turkey, rabbit, squirrel. Now in rural areas, where the guys actually live there, now it's alive and well. I mean, it's doing good. People still actually are taking children, hunting, but like I said, the struggle are getting people that live in the suburbs or urban areas, out and getting them away, getting them detached from the iPads and the social medias and the just television and
that's
other
a universal problem, literally, for anything.
Oh, yeah, right.
It is.
Well, and imagine living in an urban center. Like maybe you live in, maybe you've got a small yard or no yard at all, and you've got to figure out how to field dress and then process a deer. Like that's a problem.
Yeah, where do you do it at?
That's going to cause some phone calls probably if you're in an apartment someplace. I don't know how you do that. But so also I wonder about expense. You can spend a lot of money. You can sink a lot of money into equipment. Like how do you navigate that, Josh? And especially your buddies that you're kind of taking out, how do you help them gear up so they can be independent and be hunting on their own?
You know, most of them. I mean, well, like I said, mainly just I'm talking about probably two guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they still have a rifle that they've been had for a long time. You know, maybe they upgraded here or there.
Mm-hmm.
And I do tell them, you know, just try to have some universal clothing. Like, you know, of course you can layer up. You don't have to go out and buy a super, you know, insulated pair of coveralls or overalls and a bibs and a jacket. But just a universal, you know, shirt, pants, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with a light fleece jacket, and we can, you know, put on some layering underneath, and you know, a hat, gloves, and use a lot of scent spray.
Let's focus on the basics.
Yeah, that's probably for a person that never hunts. I'm sure the whole scent-free side of it's
So
kind of a mind-blowing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
you shower with this stuff? You spray what on you?
Yeah, and that's one challenge. You know, taking them to a good area where you know they will have the opportunity to harvest the deer. You know, trying to get them to know. Look, well, you know, last time or yesterday I hunted over here and I saw 20. I want to go back over here, and being able to explain to them, look, all right, you know, today's wind direction and you know whatever pattern, the feed pattern that the deer on is not going to be conducive for a good hunt like it was that previous day.
Yeah.
And being able to explain it to them and show them, you know, showing them and actually, you know, a little bit letting them learn, you know, the hard way a little bit. Sure. But like I say, it goes back into what we were talking about earlier about sacrificing and, you know.
So you mentioned you watch, you know, if you got a spare moment, you'll go to YouTube to kind of get your entertainment or information. Is there someone you're following on YouTube that, you know, that's a person of color that's hunting on YouTube that you follow their videos and their page and, you know, that we can maybe share with our users?
Yeah. One guy, he's out of Atlanta, Georgia. I forget his real name. He actually put it out on one video, but he back tournament fishes as well as deer hunts, mainly deer hunts. And his YouTube channel is the Bass Hunter, and he seems like a pretty good guy. I subscribe to his channel, and I watch, you know, pretty much all his videos that he put out about food plotting, you know, just stands that he actually put up or a tournament that he has fish. I do enjoy his content.
We'll link over to it. We'll check it out then. That's cool. That's, you know, I mentioned the Son of the South. He's a great one to follow on like Instagram or Facebook. His story is amazing. Frankly, I've been thinking about it. We should have him on the podcast, maybe marry his podcast with Josh's here, because he was shot while hunting by accident by his father. I think they were turkey hunting, and he's in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And he's got the most amazing natural voice. So we met him at NWTF a few years ago, and since then he's kind of started to make somewhat of a career out of it in the outdoor industry. And his story is simply amazing, and the drive and determination he has to go hunting even after what happened to him.
I can't imagine.
It's pretty cool, and so he's a good one to follow. Of course, Trent Green, or Trent Cole rather, and then this Halo Outdoors. That's another really solid one to follow on social media that I've noticed.
It's kind of the cool thing about digital media is that it's spread out. There's more access, and so you can get a diverse feed.
Yeah, because let's be honest. I mean, TV, especially for hunting, other than Pursuit, you know, is on that basic tier package for most people if you got Dish or Direct. But you know, Outdoor Channel and Sportsman Channel, it's a pay tier, and that's an instant barrier to entry for a lot of folks who just, you know, aren't willing to pay to have outdoor programming. So that digital age really helps us all out, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
you know, I was a little concerned about posting when we did the on race and future-proofing hunting article in DeerCast. I just didn't know how people would respond to it. And on the whole, like,
it was pretty good.
98% of the comments were positive.
I saw one guy was kind of a jack off about it, but
yeah, there was one guy, and a bunch of other folks jumped on him for saying what he did. But I'm curious, Josh, have you experienced any kind of bias or prejudice as you've been hunting?
Call it like it is, racism.
Yeah.
You know, while you're out hunting or going hunting or from other hunters in general.
No, I mean, I haven't. I mean, it's just, but really, it just goes about, how or the type of people that you surround yourself with.
Agreed.
But as far as the guys that I've been around, I surround myself with, no, I haven't. I can't speak of it, but like I said, another guy probably can.
There's probably plenty of those guys out there in small town Midwest that have that in them. But for the most part, and maybe it's same situation. The people that I'm surrounded by would never ever think about that. Would welcome a hunter of any color. A hunter's a hunter.
Yeah.
You sit down at a campfire at the end of a hunt and talk about your hunt, it's a pretty
Skin
universal.
color goes away.
It's a pretty universal conversation that's being had. So you could bond over that anytime.
Oh yeah. Like I say, as far as now we, in the little small camp that I'm in right now, we don't have any other races, and not. There are no races that's not prohibited or anything,
sure.
but that's one thing that I haven't I can't say that I have hunted with on my pieces of property that I lease or I don't own any, but did I lease or have permission to hunt?
So you're saying that you hunt with other black guys, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we hunt with other white guys, but that's who you're surrounded by, right? That's that. I think it's just product of the environment.
It's not like you're actively selecting people out of your company.
No.
Yeah. But as far as what I was getting at was the neighboring properties that surround the leases and the properties in our camp. As far as if somebody were to harvest an animal and it did run across the fence or whatever, the landowners, you give them a quick call or they'll just tell you, just take care of your business, retrieve your animal, no harm, no foul,
Good.
So those are the experiences that we have down here.
Good. I really feel like the community of outdoorsmen in typical fashion are leading the way in a lot of places, with the promotion of women in the outdoors, the promotion of minorities, because we realize this is a family and it's kind of a small family and there's a lot of threats on the outside, so we got to circle the wagons and protect our own and encourage our own.
Yeah, there's enough exterior issues, like there's no room for infighting, which it happens,
Yep.
Some people don't like crossbow hunters. Some people don't like rifle hunters. It's pickle thief. Now that's universal. Everybody hates a pickle thief. Let's quit bringing it up, Tim. But my point is, you're always going to have a little bit of infighting, but in general, we can't afford to have infighting about who's hunting. Other than poachers, I think that's pretty universal. Nobody likes a poacher.
Right.
That's worse than a pickle thief.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, but other than a poacher, I mean, if you're using legal methods, by and large, most hunters are like, hey, go for it.
Yep.
Baiting, whatever it may be, like, hey, if it's legal, do it. I don't care. We just need people hunting. We need the license sales. It goes back into hunting. I mean, conservation. It's a cycle there that we need all of it. We need people buying bows. We need people buying the gear, because all of that, I don't know if most people know much about it, but that the tax that goes into all that feeds back in to conservation. I mean, we are our best friend when it comes to preserving our heritage, right? So we need everyone we can get.
That's right.
And that the economy that goes with it continues to help us go down the pipeline with it.
Yeah, dollars equal influence.
Yeah.
Dollars and numbers.
So
So Josh, you harvested. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
He was talking about Mark. He was not Mark. I'm sorry.
Hey, I wish I was Mark. Don't be sorry, man. I'd have a lot of big ass deer on the wall.
But what you were saying about we're our own best friends, in the hunting period. But I do know one thing that it's kind of a strike against us, other than say like tournament fishing. Because I tournament fish, bass fish here and there. But I do know one thing that helps out bass fishing is, now with these these bass fishing leagues with the BASS or the FLW, college fishing, and
high school teams,
wrap boats, wrap trucks. It's that rolling billboard effect, and that helps hunting. But something along those lines could actually help hunting. In my point of view.
It's weird. There's a real stigma behind like a competition-based hunting as opposed to fishing. Like everybody gets on board with the fishing tournaments, and it's just kind of the way it is, and people love them. I mean, you look at, when Bass Pro or Cabela's has, one of those, a Kevin Van Dam in, to sign autographs, there's lines out the door. I mean, you don't see that for really anybody other than maybe Waddell or Eva or, maybe Cameron Haynes. There's not a lot of that in our industry. It's a weird disconnect. And then when you talk about that style of a fishing tournament, we got a bunch of crap over Dream Season for a long time because it was considered a hunting competition. Your diehard dyed-in-the-wool hunter just disagreed with that. It shouldn't be a competition. It's something special. And it really wasn't even a competition of biggest deer. it was experiences. And I don't know why that's there, but that's definitely something that, I mean, I agree with you. Like, there's Quest Hunt?
Quest Hunt Co.
Yeah, Quest Hunt Co. and the down in Springfield, Missouri area, and they got a hunting competition, and they started it last year, and it went over like gangbusters, and like it was different states, a competition in each state. That they were like 4 or 5 states.
It's like a big buck contest on a larger scale.
And geez, they were giving away like side by sides and muddy blinds. It was like a huge. It was I forget how many, couple $100,000 worth of prizes they gave away, and went over like gangbusters. And we're gonna do something with those guys, and maybe down the road there's something in DeerCast in regards to that. Because at the end of the day, like back long time ago, back when you still had to check your deer in, physically check it in. The bragging board there at the check-in station was the bomb. It was the place to be. Like your picture up on that wall. Hey, you made it. You know what I mean?
The Polaroids up there.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, it was okay then, but it's not really now for TV purposes. It's a weird disconnect.
People are becoming more and more, and this is like a topic for another time, but I think our culture is so disconnected from the process of death.
Yeah.
That it's so taboo for most people, and that's some work that we have to do. But
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Good. That the death part is the actual disconnect. I think because fishing wise, which a lot of people do have a problem with, actually putting a hole in a fish's mouth, and then releasing him, he'll be fine. But the death part in a deer, but of course, you got to harvest the animal too.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Exactly. But the critical mass, you guys' critical mass show. And the way you guys film it and produce it, I mean, I think that's actually real good as far as the challenging aspect of getting it all on camera, the scouting, food plots, and everything. Because me myself, I try. Every once in a while, I try, make an attempt, poorly I might add, to video.
It's tough.
Until, 130 or 40-inch deer out there, and there he is.
Your mind.
Yeah.
Make the shot. So,
critical mass was an interesting kind of case study too, because people, by and large, they had a problem with the game inside the game. They're like the hunting. I think they just wanted more hunting. They wanted to get rid of the archery tag part. They didn't. It was the most expensive thing we've ever produced, and it just didn't translate. And that game is super fun.
Oh yeah.
Our point was trying to introduce new people to the sport,
right? And
we're trying, like it was a reach, but if we continue to do the same thing over and over, that's not working. Obviously, it's not working. Our numbers are declining. So we tried to make it fun and different and cool for someone that might be on the fence or didn't care to hunt. Hey, they started watching for the other reasons, and then they saw the hunting. But also at the end of the day, the network's demographic is what it is, and it's not necessarily that they had a new customer for us to reach those eyeballs. So it was it was a
risk.
It was a risk, and it just didn't translate the way any of us had hoped. But if you don't take risks, what are we going to have 30 seasons of dream season? That's not really doing anybody injustice either. So
yeah, we have to. Demographics are changing, the communication methods are changing. We have to be willing to change also.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it is. So speaking of change, the latest addition to the show, the wildlife words. You guys ready for this week's wildlife word?
I hope you're ready for this, Josh, because every week he says something crazy that I have no idea what it stands for and no idea. And I cheated this week. I actually looked up the words.
There you go.
But I guarantee I won't remember what each one. Every time I look at them, I'm like, that means what?
So it's a test of Matt Drury's short-term memory.
It's
really
bad. Damn college.
So this week's wildlife word is crop. And this is not the agricultural version of crop.
Spelled the same way?
Spelled the same way, yep. And you guys, Josh just killed a great turkey down there in Mississippi. I know turkey season's about to open up here for us. But the crop is the thinly lined sac used for storage of food before digestion in birds. And as turkey hunters, we kill a bird, and a lot of times we want to know what their patterns are, what they're eating. So you slice that crop open and see what's in there. Food sac.
Any pickles in there?
What is that supposed to mean? Is it like a joke or something? I don't know. Have you guys ever sliced open a crop on a turkey?
Yeah, on a turkey. Yeah, absolutely.
What else did you think I was talking about?
Well, I don't know where you're going, Dexter.
A crop on a robin. How about you, Josh?
I actually did it on that turkey that I harvested. Posted on DeerCast. I've been looking for whatever leaf or plant that was that turkey was full of, his crop was full of, and I hadn't found it. I don't know what.
Mystery food.
Yeah, I've actually been looking for that, but yeah, that hunt, I forgot to go into that, but that hunt on that bird, I mean, I put a quick, I typed up a quick story on it, but it was basically just that quick. I actually fished a tournament the previous day, and I didn't want to get up necessarily that early to go out at 5 a.m. to hunt that next
Come
morning.
on, Josh.
Like, well, I'll just sleep in, and 8 o'clock, 8:30, I go out and listen and see what I can do, and I end up arriving at camp about 9:30, and I took the time. Had a biscuit from the quick stop up the street, bottle of water, put my vest on, got everything, put my snake boots on, ready to go. Parked maybe 200 yards from where I actually harvested the bird. Started walking, blew a crow call a few minutes, never heard anything. Got right to where I actually sat and shot the bird, blew the crow call, didn't hear anything. But I know over the years, they strut in this area. I was like, well, I'll just put my decoy out. I'll put my turkey chair out, and I'll sit here and, call a little while. So I was in the process of I put my decoy out about 10, 15 yards in front of me to my right. And I was like, well, I'll just pull out my friction call here, and I'll cluck a little bit, few soft yeps, see if I can make anything happen. And you always hear and you always want to be ready. If he gobbles, you need to be ready. And I was not ready. And I did set my seat up. In a way, I made a cluck, and he hammered right over a ridge and right in the bottom. He could not have been no more than 90 to 100 yards away. So I ran back the other 10, 15 yards, and now, I just bought a new shotgun, and it's camouflaged. Set it on the ground. So I spent 20 seconds looking for my gun, and this turkey's coming, because he gobbled the second time. And
panic sets in. It gets strangled.
So I'm looking, I'm like, where's my gun? So I finally catch sight of it, sitting right behind the chair on the ground. Grabbed it. I sat down, maybe 10, 15 seconds later, he come over the hill, and he saw that decoy, and he put on a show strut. And I never called to him because I didn't want to, get him to hang up. He come right in, about 35 yards, and I wanted to call, but I didn't. He strutted around. I could hear him spinning drum, and he worked his way about 25 yards. and I went on ahead and I harvested them there.
There you go.
And,
Is there anything funner than shooting a turkey in the face?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So Winchester Longbeard XRs.
They're deadly, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care who you are. You could sit around and tell hunting stories all day, and
Totally.
everybody can relate to that.
Yeah. It's a common thread. That's and it's such a leveler of playing fields.
Yeah.
Like we're all hunters.
We all can lose a gun for 20 seconds in the panic.
Or trail cameras or whatever.
Yeah,
we all have donated stuff to the woods before.
Yeah. I'm glad you found your gun, though, man.
It would have been a very different story otherwise. Well, cool. Yeah, Josh, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time, and just being willing to have the conversation. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, buddy. Good luck. And we also appreciate you being in DeerCast, and hopefully we continue to have a good product there that helps you and anybody out there hunting. That's the point.
Yeah, and hopefully you are signed up for the farm giveaway because that's going like gangbusters right now. This month we're giving away a Groundbreaker 3 from RTP.
It's like $7,500 giveaway.
Yeah. And it's like it does everything.
It does.
You haul it behind an ATV or a tractor, but it'll break the ground, put the seed in, and pack it back down. It's like a one-stop shop for putting in a food plot.
And it can come with a wheel kit. The reason why they're giving away this one particularly, it can come with a wheel kit, so you could pull it with a side-by-side or something like that.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily have to have a tractor. That's the cool part there. So pretty universal for just about anybody.
Yeah, so if you're not already registered, folks, make sure that you go on DeerCast or visit the website, get registered. To take less than a minute to do it, and you're automatically entered for all those giveaways.
And I'll be honest, your odds are pretty good. I mean, it's not like 1 million people have signed up for this thing. You have really good odds. Once you sign up once, you're signed up to win every single monthly giveaway and the farm. So
and right now, the guy that we pulled his name for March for the full lineup of biologic stuff, has not responded yet. By the time this podcast airs, he's either going to have reached out to us, or we're going to the next person that we
by
pulled.
the sweepstakes rules, they have
15
days to respond. Yep. So if he doesn't respond, we got to pick the next guy.
Yeah. So folks, please look at your email.
That's all we have.
It's going to suck. If this guy does not do that, and he day 16 opens up his email and sees that he could have won, that's not good.
Well. It happens.
Yeah, check your emails.
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Josh. I think that does it for this episode of the OnX Hunt 100% Wild podcast by Drury Outdoors. And I'm excited. Turkey season's here. A lot of people are killing birds. Like, Josh, I haven't been out yet. You went out with your daughter. We probably need to save that for another podcast.
Let's do it. Yeah, tune in next week to find out how the youth hunt went.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Until next time, safe hunting, identify those targets. Peace out.
See ya.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by OnX Hunt, the nation's #1 GPS hunting app.